Hello everybody and welcome back to Memories Dogma. Kakeru slips out of my grasp and falls to the ground.
Huh? Kakeru?
I try to pick him up, but he's completely limp. I try to grab him by the stomach instead and I feel something sticky flowing onto my hand. It's blood.
Hiroki!
I look in front of me and see two figures pointing guns at us. They're completely dressed in black and their faces are covered by some kind of mask. I can't even tell if they're men or women, but judging from their builds, they're probably men. I can see their eyes as they catch a glimmer of light from outside, but I don't see any sense of emotion from them at all. Just now, one of them shot a man, yet he's still looking at us with those expressionless eyes. These bastards shot. I hear the sound of the guest room door being opened. I turn around and see the man who'd been in the hallway just seconds ago standing there, pointing his gun at us. Surrounded on both sides, we slowly get corralled to the center of the guest room.
Damn
it. Kakeru's collapsed to my feet. I can't allow Kakeru to be harmed any further. I try to put myself between these men and Kakeru, and I feel 3 guns suddenly point my way. I could think of only one way out of this. If I use that power, or maybe if I stare at the palm of my hand. I don't know if I'll be able to use it properly or not, but if I manage to do it right, even if I take some damage in the process, I should be able to take these guys down. What should I do? The intruders, their aim unwavering, are waiting for me to make a move. Can I do it? Take out the 2 in front of me and the one behind me at the same time? No, it's impossible. Even if I properly manage to call up that power, any sudden moves will put Kakeru and Rina in danger. Even if I can take out those 2 in front of me, there's no guarantee that I can get the one behind me before he manages to shoot either of them. And most importantly, I don't even understand this power of mine in the first place. I slowly raise my hands and put them behind my head. The men still don't move. We don't move either. The faint cry of an ambulance pierces the silence. Save us! I want to shout out. But there's no way an ambulance would hear us from this far away. I'd love to call the police, but I doubt we'll be able to contact them successfully in this situation. Besides, my MRD's out of batteries anyway. Shit, how do we get out of this?
Hiroki,
Rina whispers calmly.
They
had no qualms about shooting Kakeru. Suddenly I feel something hit me across the head and I fall to the ground. Looking up I see one of the figures who'd managed to get close the distance between us in an instant. He's the one who hit me, probably. While I'm still trying to piece together what just happened, he silently smashes me on the head again with his gun. Not just my head, he starts hitting me in the stomach, back, sides, all over. Trying to protect myself against the pain, I huddle with my hands over my head. But even then, the pain is so great I can hardly breathe. The man finally stops hitting me after Rina's declaration.
Hiroki.
Rina gently strokes my back. They don't respond, but they come up to Rina and me and pin our arms behind our backs. Even though she must be scared too, Rina tries to reassure me with a nod. But Rina's right. The best way out of the situation is to just do what they want. Suddenly we hear the sound of someone pounding loudly on the front door. I see all the men tense up. Rina and I exchange glances. We didn't call them. The men grabbing their arms exchange some sort of signal with their eyes and then suddenly thrust us away before disappearing into the darkness.
これは助かったのか。
そうみたいね。
すみません。扉を開けますよ。
今行きます。
So confused, I run up to the front door. Why did the paramedics come here of all places? Well, regardless of the reason why, this means we could save Kakeru.
こちらに怪我人がいるとの通報があったのですが。
こっちです。
The paramedic is carrying a stretcher and I direct him to where Kakeru is. Rina's sitting down next to Kakeru. I'm about to head over to him too when I see the door to Aoi's room is open.
そうだ。葵さん。
Oh yeah. I take a quick look in the living room, but she's not there. I rapidly start searching all the rooms in the house. Thinking she might be hiding somewhere, I take a look through the closets too, but I don't see her anywhere. Where'd she go?
どうしたのひろき。
葵さんの姿がないんだ。
まさか。
We're probably thinking the same thing. What if those men took Aoi? Those bastards. Kakeru's being carried out of the house on a stretcher. All I can do for him now is to watch over him.
ひろき。
As the stretcher passes by us, Kakeru calls out to me, his face twisted in pain.
かける。
I run over to the stretcher. Kakeru slowly lifts up his trembling left hand. I clasp it tightly with my right.
悪いな、ひろき。
Kakeru's voice is so faint, I have to strain my ears to catch his words.
大丈夫だ。何も言うな。
Don't talk, Kakeru.
あと、頼むぞ。空の真実。
I will, buddy. Kakeru loses his strength to keep his arm up.
おい、かける。おい。
ちょっとどいて。
One of the paramedics pushes me out of the way while I keep shouting Kakeru's name. He has a short conversation with another paramedic and then they carry Kakeru to the ambulance. Unable to bear seeing him go like that, I take a step forward, about to ask them to let me on the ambulance too when Rina grabs me by the shoulder.
私たちがついていけばもっと面倒なことになる。
でも。
My friend is dying.
私だって一緒に追いかけたいと思ってる。
Rina's practically shouting.
けど一刻も早く治療を受けられるようにすることが
Damn it!
結果的にカケルが助かる可能性を高めることになる。
レーナ。
今は助かることを信じるしかない。
He better survive. I look back at the ambulance just in time to see them shut the door after letting Kakeru in it. The ambulance then speeds away, its sirens blaring. Please make it out of this alive, Kakeru. Please. I pray earnestly while watching the ambulance depart.
カケルは大丈夫。きっと。
Yeah, he'll be fine. Rina says while biting her lips. Her word lacked conviction.
でも葵が
Where did she go? I'm almost certain the JCO sent those men. Which means it's highly likely that Aoi-san was kidnapped.
レーナ、一刻も早くコネクトセンターに。
There's someone standing in the corner of the alleyway. Did those guys from earlier come back? My body tenses up again.
レーナ、下がって。
どうしたの？
Shh.
あそこに誰かいる。
I move to cover Rina as I stare at the figure. Whoever is there slowly starts walking towards us. Eventually they got close enough that I could make out their features in the faint moonlight. You? It's the shrine maiden I've seen a few times before.
君はあの時の。
楠原弘樹さん、それに折笠玲奈さんですね。
How does she know our names?
あなたは 何者なの？詳しい事情は後ほど。
No, you're gonna explain everything now.
突然で申し訳ありませんが、ひとまず私についてきていただけませんでしょうか。
どこへ？
ついてきていただければわかります。
君が俺たちの敵ではないという証拠は？
Exactly.
後できちんとお話しします。
Trust is in short supply here.
少なくともここに居続けるのはあまり得策ではありません。あれを。
I look in the direction that she's pointing and see a young woman looking over at us from the window of the neighboring house. Looking around, I see a lot of Oyo's neighbors have opened their windows to take a look at the commotion. Makes sense, after all, an ambulance did just come here. And it's only a matter of time before people realize Rena and I are the ones that were on the news and are wanted by the police.
ご理解いただけたならこちらへ。
The girl holds her left hand up high and a ray of light from the morning sun pours down onto her. She looks like some kind of a divine being. Should we do as she asks? Or should we? While weighing our options, we silently exchange glances, trying to figure out what the other is thinking. However, one sentence from the girl changes everything.
お話ししたいことがあるのです。水無空野さんのことについて。
What? You know about Sorano? Two days left. The place she ends up taking us to is the Ufumatama Shrine. There are some older folks walking their dogs around, and a few young people doing some shopping in the shrine grounds, but no visitors to the temple itself. The girl hasn't spoken once since we left Oi's house. All she's done is walk here at a brisk pace. Rena's clearly worried.
彼女は空野とどういう関係なのかしら。
俺にもよくわからない。ただ、空野がよくこの神社に来ていたことは確かだ。
それじゃあ信用してもいいということ？
Well, we don't have much choice.
それはまだわからない。
I think back to all the times I came to this shrine with Sorano. I never once stepped inside. I always waited at the entrance. Kind of weird, I guess, but I have no idea what she did when she came here. I mean, did she actually know this shrine maiden? Certainly seems like it.
こちらにおいでください。
She walks toward the wall nestled away in the corner of the grounds. It's a very old wall with moss and vines growing all over it. As I'm wondering why exactly she brought us here, she starts stroking the wall. Slowly and gently, she keeps running her fingers along one particular place. And then... with a heavy grating sound, a small hole appears in the location she was stroking. Literally a hole, not a depression or anything. I said small, but it's big enough that a person might be able to squeeze through.
私の後に続いてきてください。
What the hell is this?
入ったら扉を閉めるのを忘れなきよう。
She crawls in the hole. I don't know. Let's go. Well, we stare at each other. I stare inside and see the passageway goes so far that the light from the outside doesn't reach all the way in. The passage is wide enough about to admit one person at a time.
先に行く。離れるなよ。
わかった。
We go inside and close the door behind us, covering us in darkness. We can't even see our own feet, and the single candle the girl is holding provides barely enough illumination to see the way in front of us. I don't know where we're headed, but doubt will only serve to weaken my resolve. Why did this girl even appear in front of us? As if they'd just been waiting for us to be in a pinch, the ambulance arrived right as we realized we had no way out, and then right after they left, this girl showed up. There is no way everything was just a coincidence. No way. Rena lets out a soft scream and grabs on my arm. Looks like she tripped. I let her hold on to my arm. I stop, letting Rena get a better grip on my arm.
この方が歩きやすいか。
そうね。助かる。
I can't make out her expression, but it feels like she's smiling. I slow my pace down to match Rena's and we continue walking forward. What the hell is this? After we walk a good distance, I can feel fresh air blowing past my face, signaling that we were near the end. The breeze is quite refreshing in a claustrophobic cave like this. I can feel my sweat caked back cooling down too. I didn't realize there was a place like this in the Futama Shrine.
こんな暗いところで申し訳ありませんが、少しの間だけ辛抱してください。
She lights another candle slotted in the groove on the wall. As she does so, the interior of the room lights up a bit more.
さて、紹介が遅れました。私はこの神社の娘で巫女を務めております小桜巫女と申します。まずは先日の無礼をお詫び申し上げます。どうかお許しください。
The girl who calls herself Makoto bows her head.
先日のということは、やっぱりケーキ屋の前で会ったのは。
I knew that was you.
ええ、紛れもなく私です。
あの後、俺が神社で声をかけた時、わざと知らないふりをしていたのか。
はい。
否定しないんだな。どうして今になって俺たちの前に現れた？
Yeah, we want some answers, lady.
私は時が来るのをずっと待っておりました。
時？
Proper time. What, before we were all shot and killed by those men?
はい。あなたにお伝えすべきことを伝える時。それが今なのです。
Finally, we're getting some answers. It's about damn time. Makoto's words don't make much sense,
その
though.
前にいくつか聞いておきたいことがある。
ええ、何なりとあなたの質問に対する答えがお伝えすべきことの一つですから。
We have a lot of questions, believe me. There's a number of things I want to ask, but the one thing I want to know most of all
さ
is...
っき救急車を呼んだのは君か？
はい。
So we didn't call the ambulance.
そうか。じゃあまずは感謝をしておく。だがどうしても腑に落ちない。あまりにもタイミングが良すぎるし、それ以前にどうして救急車を呼ぶような事態が起きていると分かった。
This goes beyond the level of her just knowing that we were going to be attacked. From the time those men started their raid to the time it took for us to be cornered like that, and then factor in the time it would have taken the ambulance to come after being called, and the time it would take the paramedics to start knocking on the door. You'd have to know all those things beforehand, and even then, it's not something that you'd be able to do normally.
普通に考えれば君もあいつらとグルだと思わざるを得ない。だがそうするとそもそも救急車を呼ぶ理由がない。
Makoto closes her eyes and nods.
教えてくれ。君を信じるに値する答えを。
Makoto takes in my words and opens her eyes again.
その疑問に対する答えこそが一番お伝えするのが難しいことなのです。そして今あなたが感じている矛盾こそがその答えとも言えます。
曖昧な言葉で濁すのはやめてくれ。
Yeah.
申し訳ありません。ですが理解していただくためには一つずつお話しするしかないのです。
Makoto says with a bow, then continues her explanation.
楠原弘樹さん、あなたはここへ来るまでにいくつもの選択をなされてきたことでしょう。
Yeah. Choices. I remember back to the first time I met Makoto, and the words she whispered in my ear. She has chosen, now it's your turn to choose.
そのあらゆる選択の結果として今ここに存在している世界のあり方、それは現在と呼ばれ、あり方の変化の過程は過去と呼ばれています。
Okay.
そして未来とは 誰かが何かを選択した時に決定される世界のあり方の集まりです。言い換えると、選択の数だけ未来があるとも言えます。
Makoto hesitates a bit and averts her gaze for just a moment, then looks back at me and continues.
私はその未来のいくらかを知ることができるのです。
You can see into the future? Silence. The sound of the wind howling through the cavern is surprisingly loud.
あなたには予知能力があると言いたいの。一般的に言われる予知とは異なります。確定した未来がわかるわけではありません。私がわかるのは、ただ近い将来にどのような未来が決定されうるかということなのです。例えば、先ほどあなたたちが窮地に陥った時のことですが、私が介入せずとも正しい選択がなされれば、あの場を切り抜けることはできたのです。
そうなのか。
もちろん切り抜けられない未来も存在していました。その切り抜けられない未来を導く選択を遮断する先手を打つために、そしてあなたたちに私の持つ性質を信じていただくためには、あのような手段を取らざるを得なかったのです。
Makoto is trying to say that the very sense of contradiction that I'm feeling is the answer. In other words, the reason she called the ambulance with such perfect timing wasn't because she was with the JCO, but because she could see the future.
あいつらの仲間だったっていう方が
Yeah,
まだ
really.
信じられる内容だな。数日前までの俺なら絶対に信じてなかった。
That's right. If it had been me before I'd met... Wait. If it had been the me before I'd met Rina, the me that I was when I first met Makoto in front of Zelkova, I definitely wouldn't have believed her. But now Makoto's answer just seems like, the most natural explanation of everything.
そうですね。それが普通というものですから。
Makoto says while smiling sorrowfully.
しかし、あなたはもう普通ではない流れの中に身を置いている。
How abnormal doesn't even begin to describe it.
今こそお伝えする時が来たのだと思ったのです。先天的にパズが発現している人間、理論上存在するかもしれないとは思っていたけど、本当に実在したのね。未来がわかるだなんて非科学的だけど、これまでに起きたことを考えると信じるほかない。
With one of my questions answered, a new feeling starts welling up within me.
確かに君が未来を知る力を持っているということは分かった。
It starts burning hotly within me.
だったらもっと早くなんとかなったんじゃないのか。
My mouth starts moving before my brain can stop it.
カケルがあんな目に遭う前に呼ぶことだってできたんじゃないか。葵さんのことだって連れ去られることが分かってたなら、もっと早くどうにかならなかったのかよ。
ヒロキ、落ち着いて。
Rina stops me from continuing my tirade.
すまない。でも今さら言われたところで手遅れになってしまったことが多すぎるんだ。
申し訳ありません。
Makoto looks down sadly.
私は未来を見ることはできますが、変える力は持っていません。すでに決定されていることについて大きく手を加えることはできないのです。
もう一つ教えてくれ。彼女は選択した。君が最初に言った言葉の意味を。
And that it'd be my turn to choose next. Like, what does that even mean?
これはソラノのことなのか。
はい。
Makoto nods and goes over to one of the candles strewn about all over the room.
この大二玉神社は何百年も前に建てられました。その当時から悩み迷う方々、その中でも 常人が持っていない力を生まれながらに持ち、苦しんでいる方の言葉を聞き、その魂を救ってきたと聞いています。
常人が持っていない力というのは、君の持つ力のような超能力のことか？
私たちは超能力というような言葉は使いません。そのような特定の言葉で言い表せるものではなく、人が持つ個性の一つだと捉えています。
Makoto lights another candle while answering.
例えば、ひろきさんが男性でレイナさんが女性だというのも個性の一つですね。頭の回転が速い、人への思いやりが強いというのもまた個性です。それらと同じで、人と違うことができるというのも個性です。いわば天から与えられた贈り物です。
Makoto walks to another corner of the room and lights another candle.
しかし、人間というものは自分と違うもの、相入れないものを恐れます。ずば抜けた力を持つ方は周囲から恐れられ、迫害されることが多いのです。私たちは代々そのような悩める方が他の方々と共存し、現世での役割を見つけるためのお手伝いをしてきました。そういった天から与えられた力は私の中にもあり。
Makoto lights the last of the candles and then turns to face us.
ソラノさんの中にもまた
Sorano.
あったのです。
After hearing about how Makoto had powers, I had a feeling that might be the case. Considering the shrine's history, it makes sense, so hearing it directly from Makoto only confirms what I had already suspected. But at the same time, it just doesn't feel real.
ソラノは、ソラノにもそんな力が。
ソラノさんと一緒にいて不思議だなと思ったことはありませんか？
不思議だと思ったこと。
I think back to all the memories I have of Sorano. I try to recall if there was anything strange about any of them. Oh yeah. There was just one thing I thought was strange.
ソラノはあまり他人と接しようとしていなかった。俺やカケルと話している時は明るかったから、友達だってたくさんできておかしくないはずなのに。
So why hang out with the likes of me then? That was a question that was always in the back of my mind. Almost all my memories of Sorano are of a bright, cheerful, and very kind girl.
でも時々ひどく怯えた顔で他人を見てる時があったんだ。
That had always struck me as strange. Why was she so scared of strangers? And why did she talk to someone like me?
そうですね。ソラノさんは他人をひどく恐れていました。
Makoto looks up to the rays of light pouring down into the cave from the sky, her voice tinged with nostalgia. Then after a short silence, she looks back at us and begins speaking once more.
彼女には他者の思考を感じ取ってしまう力があったのです。
他者の思考を
相手が何を感じ考えているのか、本人の意思とは関係なく分かってしまうということです。
Hearing that made me remember something. Once, when I was seeing Sorano off at the shrine gates as usual, I was suddenly scared by the notion that she might go off somewhere and never come back again. Don't worry, I'll be back, just wait here. Those were her words to me. I remember feeling embarrassed because I thought I had let my fears show on my face. But apparently even that wasn't because of my expression.
人には様々な感情があります。その中でも悪意に満ちた感情というものは表に出ることはめったにありませんが、一瞬でもその悪意に触れてしまえば多くの人は萎縮してしまうでしょう。ソラノさんのような優しい方であればなおさらです。
どうして？
ソラノさんは力のことを誰にも知られないようにかなり気を配られていたようです。私はそんなソラノさんの生き方を尊重し、 せめて安心して一緒にいられる方のそばにいるようにと。
そういうことだったのか。
Makoto softly continues.
ご自分を責める必要はありません。あなたが何の打算も悪意もなく彼女と接していたことは、きっと彼女にとって救いだったに違いありません。
Is that really true?
ひろきさん、これから私が申し上げることをよく聞いてください。今、あなた方の周りで起こっていることをご自分の目で見て感じているでしょう。その不穏な動きを。今はまだこの周囲の一部しか知るところではありませんが、これから世界を蝕む悪意へと広がっていくでしょう。
それって JCO が今行っていることと関係が。
申し訳ありません。具体的に何かということまでは
Damn.
申し上げられないのです。今あなた方が感じていること、体験していることが全てです。
Makoto hesitates a little and pauses shortly before continuing.
この悪意の広がりは空野さんの選択の結果起こったものです。
What? She is chosen. So that's what Makoto meant. Everything that's happened now is a result of Sorano's choice?
それは
Yeah.
どういうことだ。
選択というのは自らが選び取るものと思いがちですが、そうでない場合もあるのです。本人の意思にかかわらず選択しなければいけない時が訪れることもある。彼女もまた選択を迫られました。一つは自らが犠牲になり悪意が急速に広まる引き金になるという未来。一つは自らは助かり悪意が広がるのも先延ばしにすることができる未来。そして彼女は自らが犠牲になる方を選びました。
But why would you ever do that?
そんなとおかしいじゃないか。だって自分が助かる方が問題を先延ばしにもできて。
Unless it wasn't her choice.
それだけを見れば確かに後者を選んだのかもしれません。しかし後者の選択には続きがあります。自らも助かり問題を先延ばしにもできますが、ひろきさん、あなたが犠牲になる未来なのです。
What? That's why she didn't do it.
は
A future where I'd become the sacrifice? So basically, if Sorano had picked the latter choice, I'd be dead right now?
あまり想像がつかないとは思いますが、今こうしてあなたがここにいるのも空野さんの選択の結果ということです。
I didn't know what to say to that. I can tell instinctively that every word Makoto's saying is the truth.
私が空野さんの未来についての選択をしたとき、当然ながら彼女はとても悩んでおられました。そして帰り際、彼女は笑顔でこうおっしゃいました。その瞬間が来るまでよく考えてみると。それが空野さんと最後に交わした言葉です。
I didn't know. I didn't know a damn thing about Sorano. Hiro-kun, I think it's better if we don't meet anymore. I can't imagine how much pain and suffering had to have been behind those words. Behind that unreasonable choice she had to make. And I hadn't noticed any of it. I just selfishly felt hurt at those words and selfishly said all those things to hurt her back. Even though I'd been with her for so long, I did something so terrible to Sorano in her last moment. My eyes hurt. I bury my forehead in my right hand and feel its warmth.
Hiroki, 大丈夫?
Rina softly puts a hand on my back.
こればかりは推測するしかありませんが。
Makoto says timidly as she averts her gaze again.
ソラノさんがあなたを選んだのは、あなたが持っている可能性を信じたのではないでしょうか。
俺の可能性？
つまり、あなたの命が助かりつつ、世界の均衡も保たれる。
Isn't that too optimistic a choice? The odds are way too low for you to bet your life on this. But even so, it's the kind of choice you would make, Sorano.
私はあなたのことを注意深く見守っておりました。当初、あなたは抜け殻のようにソラノさんの影を追っていました。でも、ここ数日は何か行動を起こそうとしているように見える。この不穏な状態をどうにか変えようともがいている、そういった意志の力を感じました。だから私は今あなたにお話しすることにしたのです。あなたの意志にはこの世界を変える力がある。私はそう考えています。ソラノさんが信じ、あなたへとつないだ選択をどうか無駄になされませんよ。
Makoto bows deeply to me.
そろそろ時間ですね。
Time.
私にもなすべきことがまだ残されていますので、互いに最善を尽くしましょう。
Well, that was quite the episode. And with that, I'm gonna leave the video off here, guys. I will see you all next week on Memories Dogma. Have a good weekend.